Lisa.
Madonna cancels Boston.
Madonna had said she was suffering from a torn ligament and knee problems while being a trooper as she wrapped up a 3-night...
Facebook removes conservative BBC commercial. Kim Petras versus protesters. It's all happening out tonight. Join us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. With your host, lifestyle expert NapoleonPlays, trans activist Aaron Phoenix, reality TV star Chef Josie, DJ Diva Power Infiniti, DC Log Cabin Republican Joe Brookman, and our moderator Al Ferguson. It all starts right now, live on It's Happening Out.
Well, good evening, America, and welcome to It's Happening Out, the world's most popular live gay TV show. We are excited that you're with us tonight. We have a great show. We're going to be talking about all kinds of things. We did a little tease in our opening package, and we welcome you to us tonight. We remind you that this is a live show, and anything can happen. Whatever Josie says is going to be live out of her mouth, and we can't push it back in.
Honestly, anything can happen because we are coming at you from, allegedly, the gayest place on planet Earth,
That's
which
right.
is Wilton Manors right here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
That's right.
And in the heart of Wilton Manors is this hip little fun, delicious restaurant called Bubbles and Pearls. That's my spot, and we're very happy to always host It's Happening Out. Again, coming to you live from the gayest place on planet Earth.
That's right.
And everybody, host at It's Happening Out. Stay at the Best Western, Fort Lauderdale on I-95. A great place to stay. And by the way, shout out to my girl Sherelle and to my man Dan at the front desk for always making me feel like a beautiful
Wait,
diva.
are you getting extra services for the shout out?
Yeah, I get extra makeup wipes. I get more makeup wipes than
Extra
Tiffany got.
makeup wipes
Yeah.
is the best Western.
Sherelle,
Great.
Dan, anybody else who's a fan, make sure to like, subscribe, and start a watch party. We've got a video to help you do that, so check this out.
Watch this.
When viewing our live show in your app, please click share. After clicking share, your screen should change and you can then click watch party. On the next screen, you can write text to your viewing audience and then click start watch party. You've done it. Enjoy your party.
Okay, and if you liked us on Facebook, you can also see us on youtube.com/It's Happening Out. Go there, you can like us and subscribe and stay in touch with everything that's going on in the gay community.
And leave hateful comments for Joe.
Yes, exactly. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Already tonight, this is our 8 o'clock show, the most popular live gay TV show in the world. But we have already started. We have a new show at 7 o'clock talking about entertainment, and it's called Happening.Fun. Napoleon and I did it tonight. We invite you to share and participate at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And we want it time. I kind of mispronounced that word, time.
Oh. Let's start to a night.
Watch, wait, my wine, as I toast, watch this and shows you an example of what we did tonight at 7 o'clock at Happening.Fun. Watch this.
Tonight, only on Happening.Fun. We are attractions. We are casino events. We are nightlife. We are festivals. We are concerts. We are Florida events. We are movies. We are sports. We are live performance. With your host, NapoleonPlays. With your moderator, Al Ferguson. Celebrities and interviews. Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Brett Michaels. Let's plan ahead New Year's Eve with Marshmallow at Live. New Year's Eve with Pitbull. Out and About, Margaret Cho. Drag Queen Christmas. Around Florida. Surfing Santas at Cocoa Beach. Edison and Ford Estate Holiday Lights. The Fun 5, Art Basel. Bayfront Park Holiday Village. It's all happening tonight on South Florida's most popular live source for things to fun. Only on happening.fun.
Well, that's our new show, Happening.fun. And wait, wink, wink. There's more to come.
Oh,
There's
yes?
more
Easy
to come.
joke, easy joke.
When you say that, it makes me feel all sorts of uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Wink, wink. There's all sorts of things to come.
All right.
I don't
Wait.
know.
All right.
Especially
Before we
since
move
it's
into
big
the
here
top of the
in
show,
Fort
let me follow Power's lead and also do a shout out. We have people tonight watching from all over the world, not just the United States, including in Dubai, in London, and we even have people watching tonight in Havana, Cuba. And two people that we want to call out that we promised, I apologize for missing it last week, is Braulio and Eudice
Hey,
in Havana.
guys,
All of us
what's
know,
up?
watching you in Havana,
Thank you
and
for
we
watching.
call out to
I
you.
I don't know you, but hello.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. All right, let's begin the show. We jump into It's Happening Out every week with the meme of the week, and this week is no exception. Let's start with our meme of the week as we show you the meme of the week.
Oh my God.
That creepy couple on Grindr.
Oh my God.
Who won't stop asking?
That makes, speaking of things that make you uncomfortable. Who won't
yeah.
stop asking
A
for
little
you to
too
be
rela-
their third?
Yeah.
A little too relatable, Al.
Are you?
Are you one half of the creepy couple?
Do we need to take his wine away?
Yeah.
You all right?
I'm all right.
I thought you were gonna put
He's
up
visualizing all the people that
I thought you were going to put up Joe Biden in his.
All right. That's our meme of the week. We also start our show at It's Happening Out with the best thing of the week. Now, we're doing something different this week. We're not doing gay, but it's really gay. Okay? I'm not even going to set this up. America and the world, watch very closely. This is a best thing of the week Christmas message for you. Watch this.
Hey, come on! Elliot? Elliot.
You came back. My son, but my family. A lot's changed since you were here. Family.
Oh. I'll be right
America, it's a perfect message for the first week in December. Reconnect for the holidays.
I know.
There is no baby boomer in America that didn't just watch this and tear up.
I know, that's what I was
Even
gonna
Aaron
say.
is smiling. That never
So
happened.
cute.
Cry.
Like,
That-
I mean, E.T. is like the ugliest hero we've ever had.
Yeah.
But he's adorable.
By the way,
Super.
did you notice Elliot? That is Elliot from
The
the
original.
movie,
Yeah.
the original Elliot
What else
that
is he
played
doing?
the
Of course he's going
character.
to say yes to it. It's the year of reboots, so
Yeah.
he's got to come back. E.T. the new movie coming out next year.
Yeah, it's exciting. Everybody love E.T.?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
So trivia on ET.
Okay.
I grew up in Bell Laboratories, and part of what the gizmo was, where ET was phoning home, was constructed in collaboration with Bell Labs when I was there.
Oh, very nice. And I have to say to you, Xfinity, we congratulate you. You spent a boatload on that message. And we really appreciate it because to bring Elliot and E.T. back together with the original music, all grown up with
Oh,
his own
wonderful.
I thought you were
children.
going to say the original E.T. Like,
Yeah.
And,
So wait, are they doing a
Well, could
movie?
be.
No.
Or-
This is
Oh, that was
completely
the whole
just a,
thing?
This is
a
going to reboot the
Christmas
series.
message.
You know it's going to reboot it.
It
Drew
isn't.
Barrymore's going to
Wait.
be in it.
The millennial goes crazy, America. We're going to talk about you tonight a lot.
Point your
And
finger
you
at me.
too.
Are you
Listen.
E.T.? I was
Wait.
going to make that joke
Wait.
about you being
I'm here
E.T.,
for it.
but
I
do
am
this.
balls deep in Christmas spirit already, and it's only December 4th.
That
Okay,
is-
I really am. I'm not even gonna lie.
Aaron Phoenix is balls
It's-
deep in Christmas
It's
spirit.
the truth.
I love that.
I brought you all presents. It's all cold.
Oh, cool.
What are you
As opposed to Thanksgiving, which he does not like.
Not a
Okay.
fan.
All right, that's our best thing of the week, and we loved it. Reconnect for the holidays. There's our challenge words for this month. Reconnect for the holidays. Now, let's also start our show off by playing a game. We love the game I'd Swallow That. For multiples of different reasons, and in I'd Swallow That, we're going to play a drinking game.
Yay.
And we're going to ask 4 questions. Exactly.
Now I'm uncomfortable.
Speaking of shout-outs, now you're just doing like your personal grinder commercial on air. Watch
Right.
my skills.
All
Watch
right.
my skills.
So, America,
Big
we
week.
encourage you to play along with us. Get a drink right now. Get a beer. Better yet, get a shot. That's
Shot,
what we're going to
absolutely.
do. Shot.
Several.
I'm going to ask a question. If you agree, our hosts are going to take the shot. If you don't agree, our hosts are not going to take the shot. Everybody knows we play
Yes.
this over and over. Now, to play this game, we have a great bar here in Wilton Manors, the gayest place on planet Earth, called Johnson's. And it's a little old ladies' bar.
Yeah.
No, not so much. There are a lot of beautiful men there.
Sexy.
And one of the most popular is Alexander. And Alexander has become the IHO shot boy.
Yeah.
And he's going to bring our shots in. And so let's call him out.
We love
Alexander.
our IHO.
Oh, shot boy.
Love our
My favorite
IHO.
thing about him is that he wears a
IHO.
cross with everything that he does. That's where I always see.
Very sacrilegious. I like it.
Yeah, all right.
Gotta be a good
So
Christian
each
boy.
of us, Alexander, I understand. I don't know if you know this. Turn toward the cameras. I don't know if you know this, but production has decided that in the new year we're going to be incorporating you more in the show. You've turned out to be very popular. Very popular. Now, get out of my camera shot.
But he's in my camera. He's in my camera.
Girl, that was alcohol abuse.
All right. All right. Here we
Already
go.
fell.
I'd swallow that. Question number 1. I know exactly where and what I would do if I had a time machine. Oh, Lord, yeah.
Nope.
So y'all made us a lot of, wow, I can't even speak. Y'all made a lot of mistakes in the past, clearly.
Wait.
You're just taking a shot already.
Wait, Josie and Power and I have taken the shot. Oh, Aaron did too.
Word.
Josie, what would you do with a time machine?
What wouldn't you do with a time machine?
I know that's like asking, what would I do if I had a lot of money? But for me, I would go back to the past about the time when I was in high school, and I would make a few different
Choices.
corrections to the
Okay.
path.
All right.
Because it
Tell
could
me
have been a
one.
lot.
Just right to the point. One thing I would change is fill in the blank. One sentence.
Well, I would have gone to school and stopped skipping so much class.
Okay. And Power, you took the shot. What would you use your time machine for?
I would go back and avoid the mistakes that were made that led me to my 2005 possession arrest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Serious choice change.
Yeah.
You took the shot. Time machine would be used for what?
I want to blast off to the future after everybody has figured out that gender is a spectrum and sexuality is fluid.
There you
Or the whole idea of
About
restarting
200
time.
years.
You're gonna go 200 years in the
That's
future
what
and
I
have
would
it
do
in the
after
year
I go to the
200.
past and fix some
All right.
things, and then I'd go to the future.
I'm just curious, real quick. We're only going to do one polling. Napoleon didn't take the shot. One millennial said yes. The other millennial says no. You wouldn't use the time machine to change anything?
Well, I wouldn't want to change anything. I might want to experience other cultures and other times. I would be
Yeah.
so scared of the impact that it would have. And also, there's so many choices. You have all of the whole world to see right now, and it's difficult. Imagine having
Napoleon-
all of time to see.
What
Time machine for he just popped out the pussy yesterday. What time machine? what past is he gonna go back to? Girl.
And on top of that, I happen to be really good friends with Napoleon. I get
true. It is
asked this
true.
all
That's
the time.
what you
I'm
keep
really good
saying.
friends with Napoleon. Shh, don't tell anybody. I happen to know every flaw he has. He definitely needs a time machine.
I love who I
Definitely.
am today. That's why it's so weird to me when you're all like, I would go back and change something. That feels like for people that are so confident in themselves today, you have to accept where you've come from.
Yeah.
And so that means, okay, I did.
That
didn't.
That doesn't mean that
Okay,
you want to.
all right.
I
That doesn't
didn't
mean that you want to
because
travel
I-
the same
I
road.
accept
Because
it
the
I don't
journey
have a time
is
machine.
the journey has made me who I am today. And while there's been rough patches throughout, it's what makes me who
You
I am
accept.
today. I accept that.
Okay, good. All right, so I'd swallow that. Let's work on question number 2. To do that, it means many of us need another shot, which means, oh, Alexander, oh, I-ho, boy. All right.
Just make him our
No.
I love
Alexander,
it. He takes up the whole screen.
yeah.
Did you just lose your shirt? Yeah, did you just lose your shirt? Now, you're working tonight? At Hunter's. All right.
No,
Hunter.
at Johnson.
Wow. I love Hunter's. I love Mark Hunter. At Johnson's. Thank you.
That
Sorry.
should be ezy for you to remember.
Yeah.
You'd think-
it
you'd
could
think
be.
that could be a
All right.
simple thing.
Here we go. I'd swallow that
my
question.
I just saw the question.
Question number 2. I have
Oh.
balance between my professional and private life.
Nobody on here can take that shot.
Oh man.
That-
My
one
professional
down.
life is like shirtless confessions on camera.
Yeah.
I don't know what balance there even is or what line there is between professional and private anymore.
Speaking of that, are y'all watching his Instagram? He is talking practically naked almost every day. What's going on with
I
that,
do
dude?
exposures of my body, soul, and mind on Instagram where I take off my shirt, I explain what's going on in my brain, and I try to get to the root of who I am and what's going on in whatever's
I feel like
up
that
here.
was self-explanatory.
He
Yeah.
just wants the words. He wants it to be taken off right now. We're focusing on
Did
Alexander.
anybody take the shot? Nobody
No.
took the
How can
shot?
you sit at this table and say you have a
I-
fine or a line
Wait,
between
I
your
could take
private
the
and
shot
Workaholic,
if you
workaholic.
said I'm working on it.
No, it says balance. There is
I-
a balance now. Does that mean we're all dysfunctional?
No, so you know what? I have a coach. Shout out to Jennifer Grace. And
Coolest,
she
Chef
said,
Josie.
I learned, she debunked that idea that there's even a thing called balance, that balance is BS, is bullshit, okay? Because you don't want to be balanced. You want to be uncomfortable. That's how you continue growing, you know? You grow through the challenges. And when you feel so balanced, there's a way to feel zenned out and feel relaxed and also feel
Accomplished.
Yeah, it's called
Let
weed.
me challenge that observation a moment. Neither one of you took the shot. I know there are many, many people all over America and the world that are watching us right now that
Struggling
go,
with this.
I struggle of balance. Is it because we don't need to? Do you agree with that? We shouldn't be doing it?
I don't think it's that we shouldn't be doing it. I just feel that in life that a balance is not something that's consistent. I feel that it comes and it goes. You have balance at some points, and at other points you're off balance, and that's just the way it goes. So that question was a setup in the beginning. Let's move on.
Okay. All right. So, yes, sir.
That's that
I'm
on
moving
that.
on right now.
Production team says, all right, let's
All right. All right. Question number 3. I'd swallow that. Wait. Wait, we'll have to take another shot even though none of us did it. We'll call Alexander
know.
back. Oh,
we go.
I-ho,
There we
boy.
go. Oh, he still has
Time
clothes
we did
on.
today.
Wait, I'm
Damn.
curious, Alexander. Maybe
just
you can
curious,
talk
huh?
into Power's
Oh.
Mike. Do you get tired being ogled by
Talk
by
to
men?
Powers, Mike.
Do I get
When-
tired what?
Being ogled as a
ogled
beautiful
exactly
guy.
mean?
That's a lot.
Oh yeah. Well,
No.
no, actually no.
You don't get tired of it.
Why should I? Never.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it
I
funny
agree
that
with
Power
you.
right next to Alexander's mic goes like from limp to up? It's like a visual metaphor.
All right, here
I'm
it goes.
talking to your mic,
I'd
all right.
swallow that. Question number 3. When
double
I'm
penetrating?
single, is this not the everlasting question? When I'm single, I yearn to be in a relationship. But when I'm in one, I dream about being single again.
That's a mean question.
I know, I got to take it.
Frank,
I'm
did you
excited because
make
we're
this
talking about
question?
toxic monogamy later,
Isn't
so
your other half
this
here?
leads into that. Very well.
All right.
I'm all past that.
Okay. No one took the shot except me.
Yes, and your relationship is coming to an end tonight. I can tell.
Oh, the boyfriend shakes his head from behind scenes. I see.
And mind you, his boyfriend's here.
So once you're in it, that's what you wanted. You want to be
I
in
think
it.
if you're the first one, then you need to work on yourself. And if you're the second one, then just like have an open relationship. It's 2020 for crying out loud.
Wait, what happens when you're like Napoleon and you're into the 43rd?
I can't try to imagine what happens when you're like Napoleon.
You should. It's a really fun thought experiment. I encourage all
He's
of you at
into a
home to do it.
polyamorous thing.
I have a different philosophy altogether. I believe that I'm perfectly happy being single
Thank
until
you,
I
Mikey.
meet somebody that makes me happier being in a relationship.
Exactly. That's how
All
it
right.
should be.
All right.
Self-partner.
I'm
Yes.
quite clear, America. I can't get anything. I can't mine anything out of this question, so I'm going to move on. All right. So we move to I'd swallow that in terms of question number 4, which means Alexander. Oh, I-ho boy.
Oh, definitely,
There
yes.
you go. I
ho,
love
ho.
the military. I love the military.
I know what I'm asking for
I'm
Christmas.
so
Do you have another question that you require him to speak?
Wait, was it always this
Wait.
that he was wearing right now?
Am I?
I'm
am
asking
I,
that for Christmas.
Wait, what am I here for? Because I've kind of
Sorry,
forgotten what I'm here for.
Alexander is
No,
distracted.
Oh, I
that's
know
been
what
our
he's
like
here for.
legitimately. I'm distracted for the
All
first
right.
time.
So remember, come to Johnson's on Wilton Manor. Meet Alexander. He is so much fun.
And let
All
him
right.
shake it for
Here's
you.
our final question, and that is I'd swallow that. Question number 4. Of all the types, now this is a wise tale. I've heard this so many times. Question 4. Of all the types of sex you can have, makeup sex is the best.
I ain't getting drunk tonight.
This sounds like the same person, like the same kind of question as the last one. Of I need to be in a relationship, therefore the sex feels good.
Wait, I got to do a second shot.
I don't know. I don't buy this at all. If makeup sex is the best that you can do, then maybe you're getting into either too many fights or your relationship isn't as strong as you want it to be in the first place. There's so many better types of sex than makeup
Wait,
sex. Group sex.
Wait,
That's a good one.
Wait. Don't
have
you
makeup
don't
group sex,
think
though.
right? You don't
That's a
think
thing.
that the intensity of the argument, the fight, can lead
That's
to
called
anger
angry
sex.
sex.
See, there's a totally different thing.
Yes.
All right.
Totally
I was gonna say that it's second only to still angry. You know the
Still
type of-
angry. That's power
Yeah.
infinity.
Still angry.
Still angry
Power-
sex is really good.
Angry's a given. So
By the
still
way,
angry is required.
I follow the copyright registry in the United States, and I noticed recently that Power had copyrighted "Still Angry."
The new energy drink by Power Infiniti.
That's
Still
right.
angry sex.
All right, for everyone's benefit, because we and Aaron, welcome back. We haven't seen you
you.
for a while.
Thanks.
He's been having lots of makeup sex.
Yeah,
apparently.
Well, that's always.
yeah, always. Aaron has coined the phrase "angry sex"
Yeah.
and has apparently a lot of it. There's a difference in makeup sex and angry sex.
Well, yeah, I feel like makeup sex kind of invites, like, let's have a fight just so we can have good sex. No, you find you somebody who can have angry sex
Own
with you
it.
without having
Without
to
having
actually
to
be
fight.
angry.
Yeah,
if
without
you
having
can get that energy without actually having to fight, you found something good.
Yeah.
Hey, Tomcat.
I have to tell you, I went over the weekend. This is a true story. I'm kind of revealing. It's a little bit different, but true. I went to Lambda Men's Brotherhood's Leather Mask Ball over the weekend.
Yeah, fun time.
I'm not a leather guy, but there were lots of harnesses and there was lots of leather, and I talked to lots of guys.
And Al in a button-up flannel.
And
In a cardigan. Looked like Mr.
Cardigan. I hate both of you, by the way.
Mr. Rogers
Let
at
me
Leather
get my
World.
story out. And it was fun. And I talked to lots and lots of people. I'm telling you, I got a harness. Somebody provided a harness. And bringing it home, and one thing led to another, it turned out to be a great experience. You can
Okay.
implement great experiences.
Was that angry
sweet.
sex?
It wasn't.
Or
but I'm
harness sex?
saying
A harness
it's
is there
like
as a
that.
handle. A harness is there for
I
functional use.
understand Aaron's point better in that moment of going, wait, you can create situations that makes your sexual experience even better.
hell yeah.
And that's what I'm
Yeah,
pointing out.
yeah.
to
Sex
make
is
up
supposed
sex.
to be
Slapping,
creative
choking.
and fun, and it's part of the
Slapping
same genre.
and choking.
Listen,
Girl, we heard. We
Wait,
heard.
you're speaking in your outside
Oh,
voice, not your inside
Whoops,
voice.
that's slipped
Whoops.
out.
All right.
to me, makeup
Sure.
sex is unhealthy. Anyways, it's like it's the means to the end, and trust, like that's an illusion. Makeup sex is just the road to the end.
Well, and what are we making up from? Like
Wait.
a tiff
What if
or
it's
like
long
a
lost,
breakup?
separated from your lover? You're coming back. Okay, now I'm gonna take the shot because
Oh,
that could
God.
be like a romantic story.
You sound like a millennial who grew up on Disney.
Hey, Disney is now all about letting it go and sisterly love and being the fifth spirit. And
All
all
right.
sorts of things I can't spoil
America,
about
that's
Frozen
our
2.
game. I'd swallow that. Play along with us each week. It's a lot of fun. I learn a lot about these
I just
people,
got a
and most
drink.
everything
I
I
got
learn,
nothing.
I
You
hate.
forget?
I forget quickly. All right, let's move on into happening now. Now, this is a very important segment, and it's happening out. It is telling you what the breaking news. We're showing the animation of what is trending at this moment. Breaking news, and of course, it has everything to do with what is going on in Washington.
Oh,
Today,
let me
the
take all three of these shots.
Judiciary Committee is meeting. I watched for about 2 hours, and I couldn't watch anymore because they're setting up the justification. I'm sure we'll have some comments about it. But multiple things that are happening
Just
this
a
week
few.
in our breaking news that relate to politics, which is what our happening now is. First, Kamala Harris has withdrawn from the presidential Democratic campaign election. And before we get into that, watch this that we prepared for you of what Kamala said as she quit. Watch this.
So here's the deal, guys. My campaign for president simply does not have the financial resources to continue and the financial resources we need to continue. I'm not a billionaire. I can't fund my own campaign. And as the campaign has gone on, it has become harder and harder to raise the money we need to compete. In good faith, I cannot tell you, my supporters and volunteers, that I have a path forward if I don't believe I do. So, to you, my supporters, my dear supporters, it is with deep regret, but also with deep gratitude, that I am suspending our campaign today. But I want to be clear with you. I am still very much in this fight, and I will keep fighting every day for what this campaign has been about. Justice for the people, all the people. Our campaign has been about fighting for people whose voices have not been heard or are too often ignored, and we will keep up that fight.
Well, Senator Harris came out in gangbusters when she first announced in running for the president. What do y'all think quickly? Just some brief notes of what you think
I
here.
think it's a really smart decision because I don't think that she would have won the actual election if she had been the Democratic candidate.
You don't
But
think
now
so?
there's more of a shot that she is the leading vice presidential candidate for me. So whomever partners with her
Okay.
might have a really strong chance.
All right.
Hopefully.
Other thoughts?
Well, and people are throwing around attorney general and this, that, and the other thing. But I do have a question. I don't know, so I'm asking the panel and maybe whoever is out there. When somebody says suspending their campaign, does that leave the door open for maybe, possibly they
No.
could come back?
No.
Why don't they just say
Suspending-
quit? Why
well,
don't they say suspend?
It's
Because it sounds a little-
it's a vague and accurate word.
Because it
There-
sounds negative.
Yeah.
I'll beat you to it.
Yeah.
Unless you're Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
Then you'll
No,
always come back.
No.
It is not.
It's just-
She is definitely out. She is definitely. Other thoughts?
You suspend.
Yeah, we've got that. Other thoughts on Camilla? What do y'all think?
It's a little better,
Evidently, I
bittersweet.
don't-
You know, I feel like it's one step closer to Elizabeth Warren, but also she was definitely like top 3 for me too. So I don't know
Let
how
me
I feel about it.
let me rephrase one of the big topics today in our breaking news. In our It's Happening Now. There is a very good argument that there is going to be no black representation in the Democratic Party very shortly.
Yep.
Senator Booker is holding on, just barely holding on.
And
He
Julianne
pleaded
Castro
basically this morning. What do y'all think about having no black representation?
Well, it's exactly where we are in this place in our nation, in our society, in the present day. You know, when Obama was elected president, I cried because I never thought that I would ever see a black man, a black woman, a woman or a black man, elected president of the United States. This right now, I think it shows, it's speaking into the fear that is in our party or, in politics at the moment. I think we're also seeing the effect of 3 years of Donald Trump being in the office. The division is real.
Yeah, I think people are kind of falling back on the status quo because they're afraid that if they go too progressive, a black person, a woman, whatever, then they might not be able to win.
I don't think it has anything to do with either of those. I think it's the quality of the candidates. I just don't think the right candidates...
You don't think Kamala Harris was a quality candidate?
No, she was all over the place. She kept changing her mind, and she kept trying to become familiar with people in ways that just turned people off.
Let me ask you...
I actually a little bit agree with Joe in terms of I don't know so much if it's all about the race as opposed to were they really providing what the Democratic Party really thought they could use. But I do also think that what Aaron says does play into it. At this point in time, we are so sensitive about who we want to nominate because it is more important for us to beat Trump than to actually have an ideal candidate.
She was too progressive for Democrats, but too Democrat for progressives.
But yeah.
It's not just about the fact that there's about to be no person of color in the presidential race at all. You were bringing up a statistic earlier that there's just not black voters going out to vote the same way that they did pre-Obama.
Senator Booker said this morning and made it quite clear that in 2016, 1 million black voters less than there was in 2012. Can the Democrats win if the black vote does not come out in spades?
I don't think the Democrats can win if any...
Don't make a joke, please.
If any particular group, the gay vote, the black vote, the Latino vote, the women's vote, I think if any group doesn't come out and vote, then it could be lost just based on that.
Yeah, okay, all right. It's happening now. News that we want to talk about is the president was at the NATO summit. News conferences. Yesterday there were some sound bites and words about other leaders of other countries in NATO making fun of the President of the United States. This morning, he did a live press conference with the Chancellor of Germany, and, well, this is what he said by arguably our number one ally in the world, Canada. Watch this.
Have you had video of Prime Minister Trudeau talking about you last night?
Well, he's two-faced.
Do you think that Germany is too naive?
And honestly, with Trudeau, he's a nice guy. I find him to be a very nice guy. But, the truth is that I called him out on the fact that he's not paying 2%. And I guess he's not very happy about it. I mean, you were there, a couple of you were there, and he's not paying 2%, and he should be paying 2%. It's Canada, they have money, and they should be paying 2%. So I called him out on that, and I'm sure he wasn't happy about it, but that's the way it is. Look, I'm representing the U.S., and he should be paying more than he's paying, and he understands it. So I can imagine he's not that happy, but that's the way it is.
Well, let me provide context. This is happening today. That statement was made this morning at the NATO summit. Was this big news? 4 of Canada's largest television shows broke into their programming and went live and re-showed that event. So in Canada this morning, within moments of the president saying that, they were not covering this press conference with the German Chancellor and President Trump, and they broke in live to all of their programming about what he just said about the two-faced Prime Minister of Canada. What do y'all think about this moment? And let's start with Joe.
I actually think it's a non-moment. I think Trudeau...
Non-moment.
It's a non-moment. He called out Trudeau. Trudeau was uncomfortable with the response, and he was caught saying something at a dinner or a cocktail hour. Let it go.
This was a live press conference.
I understand.
This was not at a cocktail party.
No. The event where Trudeau made the comment was at a cocktail party.
But Trudeau's... and I'm curious. I'm not being argumentative. I'm trying to get to an exploration of truth. Trudeau's comment was factually correct, that President Trump showed up 40 minutes late because he did an impromptu press conference, And these other world leaders were very upset that he disrupted the schedule because he did that. He wasn't talking badly about the president. He was stating a fact that he disrupted the schedule. How did that make him two-faced?
I don't know. I don't know. All I can say is what Trump thought was intended was he was offended by being called out about what Canada did or didn't say.
I have to agree with your original statement, Joe. That's a real rare one. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a non-moment too.
Well, I could understand how Trump would think he's two-faced because, obviously Justin, like I know him, Justin, hey, Justin girl. Justin, is diplomatic, towards him and then has this conversation about him among some world leaders. But Trump has to understand, of course, other world leaders are going to be talking about him and joking about him and laughing at him because he's a joke.
Well, he's also probably a narcissist. And they can't handle being talked about critically and being talked about in a way that, maybe he did something that seems wrong or that seems like, he stepped out of line. He's, in his mind, in his delusion of grandeur, he's the king. And
he should be used
right.
to being talked about.
It's called feedback. It's called feedback. And when your colleagues, who are other world leaders, are having a conversation about you, Donald Trump, this is what is called feedback. And instead of taking it as a place where you could grow from it and maybe listen to it as like constructive, instead you're like, I'm going to go home now and I'm going to pout and throw a tantrum like a 2-year-old.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's really strong marketing on whoever created that line for Trump because obviously what's been in the news about Justin Trudeau is blackface. So literally when you create the phrase two-face, no. It's literally marketing 101. You're already thinking in the back of your head, unconsciously or not, hey, I'm thinking about the fact that this guy says one thing and does another. I'm bringing up the word face again. He's all about marketing, crooked this, lazy that, whatever the hell he says for anybody. And he's bringing it up now with Justin Trudeau.
Please, I want to make sure that I focus on your observation. You believe, just kind of very tightly, yes or no, you believe that President Trump had the intention to call Trudeau two-faced right from the beginning? Is that what you just said?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I that didn't even occur to me.
Too ADD to plan that.
Okay. All right.
Him or his people.
Probably. But my broad question, can we kind of take this flash poll idea of a single sentence or observation to you? Is calling the Prime Minister of Canada, our number one ally historically in the world, two-faced, does it create any effect from Canada or the Prime Minister of Canada of having an effect of their thoughts and relationships with the United States? What do y'all think?
Well, of course it does. I mean, it strains our relationship. For the fact that we do need, and we are close allies, we do need that friendship to continue. So diplomatically, they're going to try to work it out, but it is a strain.
Okay. Any other thoughts?
I think if it's strained, I don't think this is what strained it, to be honest. I think that Justin Trudeau, he's not like, the greatest, but he's pretty smart, and I think he kind of understands already what's going on here.
I personally think that we can stop pretending now, and people can start being authentic with each other and dealing with each other. That's where I think we are now.
Yeah. Final thought, Joe.
I think it was just being realistic. People in politics don't like Trump stating a concern or the obvious out in the open versus doing it behind closed doors.
I just said that's the final thought. However, please, if the president responded because world leaders talked badly about him the day before, how can he justify making a compliment or a comment talking badly about them? How can you have both situations?
And he finished it by saying, "I really do like him. He's a really nice guy." So he turned his statement around.
You mean he was two-faced himself?
As long as you
he's a terrible person. He's a con artist.
That's like an abusive spouse.
But I love him. He's great. He's
oh God.
He's good.
As long as I say no offense, then it's
okay. That's our.
Issue.
It's happening now. Our breaking news of what is occurring today.
I was the only one that stuck with the one sentence.
Yeah, right. All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. So we're moving into celebrity hot topics, and we have multiple hot topics that we want to talk about tonight. And of course, we must, because we're contractually obligated because we're gay, to begin with Madonna. Madonna has just announced that she is canceling dates in Boston for the theater tour that she is doing. And we're going to show you some slight news about, some video of explaining what Madonna has just done and what her situation is. Watch this.
Madonna is canceling her Madam X tour dates in Boston. The singer says because of overwhelming pain, she would not be able to perform at the Wong Theater during her scheduled dates from November 30th to December 2nd. Earlier this month, Madonna had said she was suffering from a torn ligament and knee problems while being a trooper as she wrapped up a 3-night stand at San Francisco's Golden Gate Theater. No changes have been announced for the remaining dates on the tour, which picks up December 7th in Philadelphia.
Well, Madge has some problems. First off, the girl, the material girl, is 61 years old.
No, give her a
She
break,
is
man.
showing some signs
I thought
of
she was
her
older than
age.
that.
We're all keenly aware of this, America, because she is getting ready to do. She did 3 dates in San Francisco. Here in South Florida, she's going to do 12 dates this month,
I'll
and
applaud
just
you.
starting this week.
Or is she?
Or is she?
If I had
Right.
a ticket to this, I wouldn't be thinking it was a sure thing by
Please,
far.
I've done
Hopefully
12
she-
dates in one night, girl. You can handle it.
Hopefully she's figured out how to change her routine so she
Listen,
doesn't
but
have
this
to
is-
do those leg kicks.
Yeah.
This is what aging looks like, okay? Even the material girl has to take a break.
You gotta slow it
it's called
down.
being human.
Well, I still have to
that
give it
point.
to her. I still have to give it to her. I mean, I'm 47 years old, and I find it very hard to still do my Vogue dips and dance the way I used to dance on stage. And she's 61, and now she's experiencing some
I
pain.
know,
Right.
girl.
Well, this is what
She's
aging looks
turning.
like when you have all the money for
All the-
physical
that's-
therapists and a nutritionist,
And
et
you
cetera, et
can,
cetera.
and you can take a picture
What is
in the
this
bath
photo of her in the bathtub
cold
right
water.
now? Using, too.
She's praying she's going to make it
ice
to
bath.
Miami, and Miami still treats her well. She's praying. All right,
Be all right.
let's move on to
Be all
celebrity hot topic number 2. An interesting one. Dwayne Wade again defends his son Zion on social media. There was a picture of the family where his son was wearing female accessories and acrylic nails in a holiday family photo. Look at this in terms of something that we have in video, and we're going to talk over this as we show it.
What are female
That's
accessories
exactly what I was
I
thinking.
just wanted.
That's part of the problem is that we say things like nail
Acrylic
polish
nails.
or
White
heels
spots.
are meant
Acrylic
for women and they're female.
Dwayne Wade's family was this spring was at Miami Beach Pride here in
Yeah.
South Florida, gayest place on planet Earth.
Yeah.
His son, look at this picture here, is definitely escalating a statement for himself.
Sure.
What is the big deal? What's the backlash over? Why the conversation in social media? What is it about?
Because gender dictates everything in our world. We, like, as a culture, as a society, we have used gender to oppress women primarily, but to control people. And anytime you step outside of that box, trust me, I've tried it. Anytime you step outside of the box of the gender that you were assigned, people freak out. They don't know what to do. They can't handle it. They're confused. And when people are confused or they don't understand something, they lash out.
That's true. And Gabrielle Union herself has become a bit of a fashion icon. So whatever they decided to do with this, it was going to make a statement. And I'm very happy that they chose to make a statement that is supportive of human rights and human individuality.
They've
and
been
not
major
just-
allies already along the way.
And
Anyway.
it's so courageous for Dwayne Wade, okay? I mean, the world that he comes from is the world of athletes,
Yeah,
okay?
that's what I think.
And not only
and
that-
for him to stand up for his family and stand up for his son, believe me.
And as a black man.
That's the nuance I want to bring to the table. This not only shows that we have come a long way. Shout out to Dwayne Wade, but let's talk about the comments. This not only shows that we've come a long way, but we still have miles to go. But once again, and I'm stating this publicly, black people have a problem with gay people. Most, if not many, of the hurtful rebukes and comments and the shade that was thrown was coming from our own community. And I know that there's some people that are too pussy and coward to be able to admit that and look within ourselves, other black people, to be able to admit that this is true. I'm not that coward, and I'm calling it out.
Howard, we've come to this subject many times, but I want to kind of provide an opportunity and platform to soundbite your observation. Help privileged white guy, the kind of role that many of y'all forced me into, or at least try to force me into. Help me understand, why is black community doing that? The common notion that I read over and over again is it's because of black churches.
It's ingrained in our culture that this toxic masculinity and that homosexuality is a bad thing. And of course, central to our community, our black community, is our churches, which I love. It is the source of power and strength for all of us whenever we need to be carried in faith. But at the same time, a lot of those same sources of power are homophobic, which is why I always say I am spiritual, but I'm not religious, because I didn't turn my back on religion. Religion turned its back on me.
Word.
I don't feel like I can go to a church, black or otherwise.
And I think that comes a lot.
You can come to church with me, girl.
When
I
you
have
don't
church.
have a sense of power, which is a large portion of the black community. I don't mean to speak on behalf of it, but people without power often do whatever it takes to present power. And a lot of times it goes back to the same idea that female accessories or anything effeminate is not powerful. It in itself is not a form of power. And that is something we need to break.
How many times have I walked out of a gay club in drag as power? Many, many times over the course of my 25 years. And it's black people that are walking down the street on South Beach or in Tampa or in Chicago or in any city that I'm at. And they're, oh my God, motherfucking faggot, this, that, and the other thing. Okay, I get it a lot from other black people. So when I say my own community shades us probably just as bad, if not worse, than other communities, it's because I'm speaking from experience, and this is proof positive.
If I can take a liberty, I hope you don't mind, but I remember a moment just the last time I was here on the show when we, you gave me a ride back to the hotel to the Best Western and said that you were surprised when you were coming back in drag. If you want to finish telling the rest of that.
Yes, I was at the Best Western, and I was coming out in drag, and there was some fellow brothers and sisters at the hotel. And as I walked through the lobby, they looked at me and they said, "Oh, you look good. Work, baby." And I remember feeling...
That's great.
I was struck by the fact that I was so pleasantly surprised. And I told Aaron, I said, I am actually surprised. Just the fact that I would be surprised because I was accepted and celebrated as a gay black man in drag by my own community is a big deal because that's not something I'm used to.
I want to move on to our next celebrity hot topic, but one thing that I want to observe in a topical basis of this week, it is not lost on me that the news of Wade and his defense for him, first off, he represents manhood beautifully well in this moment.
Yeah.
Beautifully well. And it is not, whether you are pro or con, Mayor Pete. Mayor Pete is having great difficulty in the black community. And recently, as we know in this last week, although we're not talking about it, he has been called out about his reference comments about having good representation from fathers in the black community. And Wade is sitting right in front of him. And I just think it's interesting that both stories are kind of cross-pollinating right now. In America in that way. We found one of the black father figures that is representing the community, and then you put that on top of Aaron and Power's observation. There is hope for the community, and you just proved it in your observation. The topic number 2 this week. That brings us to celebrity hot topic number 3. December 20. What happens December 20?
Oh, we're talking about Star Wars, clearly, if we're going into that. The finale of the 3rd trilogy in Star Wars comes out on that day.
And it's called what, Geek Boy?
Honestly, I don't remember.
That is hilarious. Well, listen, before we announce and tell you about it, there was a beautiful commercial on the Star Wars franchise.
The legacy.
The legacy of Star Wars
years.
from 1977 to 2019 to implement the final movie in the Star Wars franchise, the legacy of it. We thought it interesting to set milestones of each of the movies that came out from Star Wars. And we're going to show you each of the titles and the dates, and then we're going to show you also what happened in the gay community as we are experiencing the legacy of the last 42 years. So watch this. The legacy of Star Wars.
Insane! The Star Wars phenomenon is captivating the nation with lots of
North America's newspapers is none other than Star Wars Jedi. You can't run from Star Wars Frenzy.
The very first time I saw the word Star Wars.
217, take 9.
And 3, 2, 1, action!
I was 11 years old. It was in a magazine, and I remember seeing the words and saying aloud, Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Have you even seen Star Wars? She's never seen Star Wars?
Here's some money. Go see a Star Wars.
Star Wars is just an important part of everyone's history.
He signed his action figure.
Right here.
I sat outside the theater to watch them at midnight with my dad.
It was designed to fire the imaginations of every girl or boy who yearns for adventure.
People's love for it, it's just massive. It's the event that has become a cultural phenomenon.
Guerra de las Galaxias.
Ce n'est pas victime de princesse.
May the Schwartz be with you.
Star Wars is a milestone for people.
The Force is with us. I gotta get to Star Wars.
You're more than just fans. You're family.
Red 5 standing by.
It's something that people carry with them now, forever and ever. Now with the final trailer for the Skywalker saga release,
I can still be a part of the family costume.
You are my father.
The International Space Station watches The Last Jedi. Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's father.
it's about family, and that's what's so powerful about it. They're sharing something that moves them.
You're glad that you're finishing, but savoring every moment because you know it is the last.
Wow, is that a moment of the last 42 years? I'm struck by the titling of the years. The different Star Wars franchise movies came out. Matthew Shepard in conjunction. The first gay marriage approval, the elimination of sodomy laws in New York and Pennsylvania in conjunction with the Star Wars movie launch. Florida getting marriage. Florida got marriage in one of the years. And of course, we talk about 2019, the greatest gay celebration ever in the history of the world, Stonewall. Any thoughts about what we're getting ready to see
Star
from...
Wars has been with so many people for such a long time. It becomes a part of their history and their culture. And whether you like the series, whether you don't, it is an epic tale, and it is something that has pervaded through the years. It's not something that I'm the biggest fan of, but I remember the first time that I saw a Star Wars movie with my father, which was the one with young Anakin, the very first episode, The Phantom Menace. And even if I don't have the strongest connection to the entire series, the level of epicism that it creates and the memories that it reminds you of, your entire history is told in relation to Star Wars. It's impossible to not be a little bit emotional about it.
Yeah, it can't be not affected by it. Any other thoughts, Star Wars, before we move on?
This is really cool because I think this is going to help me open up a conversation with my 12-year-old kiddo at home, who is who's a budding little nerd himself. He just sat the other night and told me the whole recap of all the Star Wars movies, which I've seen 6 out of the 9. But he was so into the complexities of the story. And I want to show him this video. And thank you, Jared Curry in production, for putting this together. This was awesome.
It was beautiful.
Jared Curry, you're a rock star.
Right.
Because I'm gonna show this to him and let him see as long as this franchise has been around, which doesn't seem like a long time, that's how old the gay movement is.
Yeah.
To him, being gay is okay, whatever. My dads are weird. He doesn't think of it that way, but this was really powerful.
Not to mention Carrie Fisher, who was an icon to a lot of the LGBTQ community for her ability to be outspoken.
Just the fact that he knew who Carrie Fisher was made me so damn proud.
Yeah, that's
so
wonderful.
damn proud.
All right, well, as we move out of our celebrity headlines, one final note about Star Wars and this moment, and I agree with you, and thank you for calling out Jared Curry for doing this. It's a beautiful moment. I just want to point out, in terms of the history of the gay community, how fantastic is it that Star Wars debuts in 1977, and arguably, for me at least, baby boomer gay, it was the start of the gay movement. Not Stonewall, because I had no conceptual understanding. It started in 1977 in Des Moines, Iowa, when an ACT UP activist pushed a pie in Anita Bryant's face and said, "No more, and now we start." And that's how Star Wars.
Do we have that clip?
Right, exactly.
We can recreate it with Al later.
All right, we're going to move out of celebrity hot topics into headlines. Several big headlines this week. First, Ex-FBI lawyer Lisa Page has broken her silence about the attacks from President Trump. Remember how President Trump read the tweets about her? Well, let us show you a little bit about that news. Watch this.
I love you, Peter. I love you too, Lisa. Lisa, I love you. Lisa. Oh, God, I love you, Lisa. And if she doesn't win, Lisa, we've got an insurance policy, Lisa. We'll get that son of a bitch out. We got an insurance policy. And we're living through the insurance policy. That's what it is. The phony Russia hoax. Lisa, I love you. Now, the do-nothing Democrat con artists and scammers are getting desperate. 13 months, I got to move fast because they're not beating us at the polls and they know it, despite the phony polls that you see all the time.
You know, when I watch that, can't you imagine it's 2027 and we're going to watch a highlight reel of words that came out of our president's mouth? That example
Former
of reading.
president by then.
Yes.
We're going to do best of
Wait,
Mr. President.
Mid-sentence, y'all, and the idea of reading text in a sexual way where he's having an orgasm because Lisa's having an orgasm in the text. Anyway, she's come out. She's broken her silence. What do y'all think about what she's saying?
You got to admit, he was funny.
He was funny.
It was
funny. We gotta give it to him.
I sat here laughing, especially the fact that orgasm we all know lasted way longer than Trump is capable of.
That's right. Do you wait? I gotta ask. Oh, wait, let's do a flash poll. Let's do a quick flash poll. How many people think that Donald Trump has had sex in the last month? Yes or no?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
With Monica Lewinsky.
That's right. Somebody said, but not with his wife. That's right.
That's funny. Because I can't picture him having sex.
Now we all have to. Thank you for that. That's the entire
other
week.
thoughts
He's a horn
about Lisa
dog.
Page. Any other thoughts?
I just think she's coming out to get in front of the IG report and what's coming down from John Durham.
Now, what does that mean? What do you think's coming?
Well, the IG report is going to come out on the 9th, and that's the Inspector General's report on the FISA abuse and what went on there. And then shortly after that, John Durham is coming out with prosecution. I think she's going to be subject to some level of prosecution.
You do.
And she's trying to come out and
Now,
be a
wait.
victim.
Let's
Trying to
note
come out and
this
be a
moment.
victim.
You helped me do that. Jared Curry, we want to come back to this moment because I completely disagree with you, but I think that's an interesting point, and I'm really curious
And
to see if
apparently, the
that's
IG
true.
report is supposed to actually exonerate her.
I was going to say
from
completely opposite.
From the bullshit that was thrown at her from Trump. But it's just very interesting. I want everybody to remember that when Trump won the nomination, do y'all remember him sitting up there and saying that you guys are going to see, I'm going to be the most presidential. You're never going to believe it. I'm just going to be the most presidential. I remember him saying that. He got up there and he said he was going to be the most presidential ever. And once again, 3 years down the line, this is what we see.
All right,
Yeah,
Joe helps us keep this in front of us. We're going to pay attention to this. That's an interesting point. Let's move into headline 2 this week. And headline 2 talks about social media. Now, this is a big story that doesn't directly affect most of us in America, but it affects all of us in America. Facebook and YouTube have shut down a Brexit advertisement of calling it a misleading political ad. This went on in Britain. We want to show you a little bit about this. Watch what happened.
You know what the answer is? It's because Parliament is unfortunately paralysed. It's like a blocked.
Pointless delay to Brexit.
Another Brexit delay.
Real drama there in the House of Commons tonight. He says if MPs manage to change the law in what he sees as a way that would create another pointless delay to Brexit, he will lay tomorrow a move in Parliament to try to force a general election.
The Prime Minister said that the bill would now be paused, and the EU has signalled tonight that it will accept the UK's request for another Brexit delay.
it's a very complicated story, but it's a super important story to every ear that is listening to my voice. You're affected by this. Pause. You are affected by this. Facebook, YouTube, other social medias are grappling with how to manage misinformation. As extreme as Russia affecting our election, to what words you use in social media that can be bullying or intimidating. And this was an example. We had to be very careful in the production of this video of showing only bits and pieces in terms of having risk in the entire show of showing it, because we could be misleading if we did it. What do y'all think about the management in social media of words and free speech? In this example, with the conservative propulsion in Brexit.
I think what's really interesting about it is what we're watching at the core is the evolution of propaganda. Right, propaganda and misleading advertising has been around forever, since the 20s or something. And now we're in the digital age, we're in the social media age. The way that people consume their news is completely different. And the propaganda is evolving along with it. And now Facebook and YouTube and other platforms are trying to figure out how do we continue to foster free speech without perpetuating that kind of thing.
So the question is, what's propaganda?
Wait, hold on one sec. Wait, please let me interrupt. Now, I'm going to come back to you, so don't roll your eyes and throw your hands up.
I can do that.
Pause.
Wait, I want to hear what...
Hold on. I want to do a quick flash poll to this observation. In terms of how you consume your news, that's Aaron's point. It's done in a new way. Traditionally, especially baby boomers consume their news at 6:30 in the evening on NBC, ABC, or CBS. I'm asking right now, and let's say Fox 2, do you know the majority of your friends that consume their news that way at 6:30 p.m. in broadcast television? Yes or no?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
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 Okay, so the conclusion is your observation that you just made is true, which is meaning your observation and all of your answers proves why this affects every single person. You are all consuming, our friends are all consuming news in a completely new and different way. Now, I apologize for the interruption. Back to you, Joe, in terms of your observation about what's going on here.
The question is defining what's propaganda, what's marketing, and what's free speech. Because, as you said, propaganda's been around, but all you have to do is look at the sites and the marketing and the false marketing, right, to try and get people to click through. And you go, okay, what's free speech, but what's propaganda? Okay, what can be and what's marketing?
Very blurry lines.
What some people say is marketing, you're going to say is propaganda, but they're going to say, wait a minute, I'm just trying to get clicks and get people to, buy this so I can get their Florida Blue in terms of this health thing. You cannot get anywhere without giving your phone number. And then today, I have been barraged by phone calls from 11 different places saying, oh, you wanted me to call you about a health plan. No, fucker. I want you to fucking leave me alone.
You bring up the point about free speech. And I've heard that many times in relation to this. And I think that it's a pretty ridiculous argument, quite frankly, because this isn't somewhere that you're having a government hearing or somewhere where free speech would even apply. This is a private platform that people agree to participate in within the millions of words that they say, I accept that I will abide by whatever rules you change or do every single week. This isn't about free speech because you're already giving up your rights when you sign up for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
That's valid. That's valid.
Me to our next option. There's always options, okay? You don't have to participate. There's no one handcuffing you to Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. There is a new social media, community. And it's called me.we. And you can meet me there. There's no ads. There's no spyware.
Is this not an ad?
No, this is not an ad. But, if we're going to talk about that, right, we're talking about the digital age. We're talking about the millennial years. We're moving into a whole new time. This is something that we have not seen. Laws that were created 50 years ago don't apply now. We need to update. That's why we need politicians who are in place, who are of a certain age group, so they understand what challenges you're going to be facing in the next 20 years. That being said, we need legislation that's going to guide these private sectors through data collection, etc. And we have to be very careful. Like a social media platform, I mean, we have to think. Is that that's a community, right? And in a community platform, maybe just the same way we identify churches or certain types of organizations, then they become labeled as a certain organization.
I agree, and I think that Facebook has a responsibility. Once again, the more power you have, the more responsibility you have. And I think they have a responsibility to get it together, get it right, and start really type of structuring what can be seen on Facebook as far as false advertising. Because right now, Facebook politicians can still post advertisements that include false claims. And over 250 of Facebook employees signed a letter to Mark Zuckerberg protesting this policy. It's also interesting to note that on Facebook, yes, you have free speech. I mean, you give up your free speech, but Facebook actually is not really fair and balanced when it comes to what they dictate as free speech and what is harmful or bullying speech.
Language.
Because on Facebook, you can be black or any other color, but you can be black and use the word white to talk about racism or domestic terrorism, and you will get banned. I should know from experience.
Me too.
Right.
Yeah.
Hashtag me too.
Yes, but if you are a white person and you say the word nigga, you're not going to get banned.
Meaning N-I-G-G-A.
N-I-G-G-A.
Right.
Okay, which I'm not here to say that nigga is bad or not bad, and I'm not here to debate that. I'm just saying if one is looked at as violating community standards, which is the word white, I would certainly expect the word nigga would be too.
That also brings up part of the problem with it in general.
Close up in a moment.
We don't know what the standards it is that you're even violating when this happens, and that's how it becomes something of an enigma. What are we even violating in the first place?
But isn't the point of that observation that still in social media, 20 years now into real aggressive social media, it's still the Wild West?
Yeah.
Isn't what you just said still the Wild West?
And we don't know.
And,
but I think
one
they're
other
making
concern
strides.
that I think is really critical in terms of who decides how the management. Once upon a time, the broadcast networks are my little flash poll at 6:30 on broadcast television. There were rules and regulations propagated by the government.
Mm-hmm.
There are none
Right.
by the government in social media.
Yeah.
And there's advocacy here of saying we need to have reasonable rules. But I immediately bristle because does Donald Trump get to make those rules?
Right.
Does Joe Biden get to make those rules? Does Elizabeth Warren get to make those rules?
Right.
And all three of them would come from different perspectives.
So one of the things you have to remember here is those social media platforms right now are not considered broadcasting platforms.
Right.
So they have tremendous freedom
Yeah.
in terms of what they call, free speech or whatever they want to define their rules are. If Congress would declare Facebook and Twitter and some of these as broadcast platforms, they would have to conform to some of the same standards.
And they're working on that.
It
And
does
they're working
not-
on that.
I'm curious. I want to close this subject because
Because they're
unfortunately
content.
we don't
They're
have any
pushing
more
content.
time. A quick flash poll. I'd like to do a flash poll issue. Are you scared that the government will regulate and redefine any speech-related issues in social media? Does that scare you that the government's going to step in? Joe?
No.
No?
No.
No?
No.
Yeah.
No.
No, really. Now, that is not the conclusion that I thought the panel would come to. Generally, you're not concerned
We'll
about
come
it.
back to that one, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
They
It's
need
got to
to
be
be
a
more
topic
involved
we've got to
with
come back to.
technology.
Now, I've got to move on.
Yeah.
All right. Our next segment as we come out of our headlines is What's on Your Mind? And it's a new segment that we're doing. It allows the host to be able to touch base, help me understand what you think is important, and America and the world what you think is important. So, host, what's on your mind? Tell me. Who wants to start?
I'll start. It's Christmas season. And are you here and thinking about Christmas? But more importantly, I wanted to ask everybody, who on this panel went to Black Friday and Cyber Monday?
I mean,
for the first time,
sat in my house in my
I
underwear.
did all my shopping online between Friday and Monday.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I love that you just said who went to Black Friday. Who
All
went?
right.
You're very.
So Joe reminds us about it's time to think about the holidays.
Yay, capitalism.
Yes. What else on your mind? Somebody else tell me.
You know, it's actually been on my mind all day. I went to a D.C. Log Cabin Republican meeting last night.
Oh, my goodness. Drop mic.
I thought you were doing like never mind.
To get laid, because we don't want to hear about that.
No, it wasn't to get laid, though. That was very easy because it's another gay meeting. Don't roll your eyes at me, Aaron Phoenix.
It's always easy for you to get laid.
I didn't bring it up in the first place.
That happens when
Okay,
you're
is it
easy.
about
Log
changing your
Cabin
gender too? I mean,
Republic
come on.
meeting. Tell us about
That's
that.
right. Well,
what's
now
on your
what's on
mind
my
about it?
what was on my mind about it from all day is just the importance of making sure that no matter what label anybody identifies themselves as, or what group you walk into where you feel possibly intimidated, possibly like you with a leather masked ball this past weekend, you have to be open-minded enough to lean into life to make sure that you are open-minded to see what's going on around you. There were some very kind people. They had a lot of good points, regardless of what their politics were.
Did you feel different did you feel different being in the room?
I felt younger than most of the room. No, I didn't feel like I stood out because I am not Republican.
The reason I ask is I went to the Leather Mask Ball here in South Florida. Not my scene. It's not what I do. However, I was fascinating to many, many people just simply because I
You were in
made
a
the
cardigan.
commitment. Yes.
You're a virgin.
Okay, that's it. Okay, I'll accept that too.
That's a good point, though. I wonder if Power would have had the same kind of feeling of comfort and welcomeness and all that, or if you would have felt like a
All
sore
right.
thumb. I'm
Let's
just
move
saying.
on. Somebody else tell me what's
call
on
you
your
out.
mind.
Well, I'll tell you what's on my mind. One of my first and earliest experiences in life, trials and tribulations, was watching my mother get beat throughout my growing up years. My mother was a battered wife. And that really set a very strong philosophy in my life where I absolutely refuse to accept that type of a relationship. It's very toxic. Violence has no place in our relationship. And as gay men, and I don't know about lesbians as well, but in the gay community, it seems that domestic abuse is a little bit more accepted because we are the same gender. And so it's kind of looked at as, well, you know, it's a guy beating up a guy as opposed to a guy beating up a girl. It's a little bit more accepted. So let's not accept that in our life. Love should be love, and it should be respected no matter what gender you are.
I'm curious. I'm curious because I can't remember, so I asked the question. Have you talked about your mother being physically abused before it's happening out?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Anybody else has any observations?
So what's on my mind is simply being human these days. Recently, some of you guys know I've been experiencing some backache. And in my life, I've been as strong as a bull my entire life. And this idea, that's why I feel for Madonna, I'm starting to feel my age. I'm starting to feel my body. I'm starting to feel those years on the football field and those years in the kitchen.
And those years in bed?
And those years in bed.
No comment from Aaron.
I've had a whole week laying in bed just like able to kind of think of what is important to me. And, I just want to send a little message out to everyone. Don't wait until you're laying in bed and you're forced to think about the things that are really important to you. Think about the things that drive you. Always have those right here present in your heart and in your mind, because that's what life is about. It's about living. And, it's a practice, right? It's a practice to overcome your fears and really, step into it every single day. But I encourage everyone to do that.
Okay, great. And anything you have on your mind?
You inspire that in me, Josie, every day. So seriously. What's on my mind is I'm getting, at this point, other than being balls deep in Christmas spirit, I'm getting a little frustrated with the idea that cisgender people can't talk to trans people. That we're always going to be offended by everything, or, oh my God, you can't ask that question. Oh, you can't say that. Don't talk to them. You might get the pronoun wrong, and then we're going to flip out.
I get it all the time.
I hear that, and I do, and I hate it because, yes, you got to be more sensitive. You got to be aware of just how you're talking to people and how you're treating people with respect. But, man, don't be afraid to talk to us. 99 out of 100 trans people I know are totally fine with an inappropriate, slightly offensive question, if it's asked in a way that clearly the intent is to be respectful and to understand. So let's talk and understand.
To what's on your mind, interesting of your observation, I have to say, as being one of the people that are directly affected by what you said, the vast majority of the time, the criticism does not come from a trans person. It comes from a
another cisgender person.
It's really interesting to me.
Who often means really well and wants to be an ally and help, but don't talk about us without us. You know.
All right. Thank you very much. That's what's on our host's mind this week. We're going to move into our topic that we want to discuss this week, and that is about toxic monogamy. What do we think about monogamy? Well, one of the most famous gay icons in the world just talked about monogamy with his husband. Watch this before we start.
Family.
I met George on the dance floor at Limelight Discotheque in 1994.
Why did you two decide on an open marriage?
We didn't decide. That's what, the hoax is that monogamy is actually something that can actually happen. I wouldn't want to put restraints on the person I love the most on this planet. I wouldn't do that to someone I love, my very best friend. Listen, if you get something happening that you cannot resist and that it's going to make you happy, go for it. Go for it. Because the truth is, I know in my heart of hearts, like I've never known anything before, that man loves me more than anything else in this world.
Well, as America knows, I've had multiple experiences with RuPaul's Drag Race, and RuPaul really, I won't say hid this relationship, but was very quiet about this relationship for a long, long time. It's no longer quite open. And of course, you must see the cover of Vanity Fair this month. It is beautiful with RuPaul on the cover, and had this interview about monogamy. What do y'all think about the idea of monogamy, and especially toxic monogamy? What do you think?
Where to start with that one? How many marriages, as an example, end in divorce or end in unhappiness?
About
on top of
50%.
that?
50.
And climbing.
50%.
And part of that is exactly what RuPaul said. We put restrictions on it. We have this idea from the Bible that this is what love is supposed to be, and therefore it has to fit this exact paradigm. And the reality is that's not how emotions work at all. That's not how people work. So when you try to force somebody into a box, eventually when they grow and change and learn who they are, they're going to want out of that, or they're going to stop growing. And why would you want either of those things for yourself or anyone you care about?
All right.
I agree with her, but I think that's a generalization that you're just making right there. I strongly believe that every relationship is different, and every relationship has a different nuance. Now, my husband, I don't know how he's going to feel about this. I don't think him and I have ever discussed this except maybe once 16 years ago, but I'm just going to say I personally believe that, every single relationship is different, and if my relationship had started out where we decided to be open, I would have been fine with that. As it turns out, for my relationship, monogamy works for us. But I also 100% agree with RuPaul that I know that he loves me, and I love him. And I don't think that I don't think that an open relationship should be entered until that foundation is first cemented and you know that trust exists. But after that, whatever happens between you two and whatever you guys decide on is between that couple, and every couple is different.
I heard two things right there. I heard that every relationship needs to figure out its own rules, with which I agree. But then I also heard you have to start in a monogamous relationship.
I believe that you have to before you
form a foundation.
You have to form a foundation. You have to form a foundation before you can say, okay, we're together and we're just going to go out and do this. You have to at least form that trust and be able to know that my heart is yours and yours is mine before we explore and do different things. Because then it's not going to work. I've been with my husband for 16 years.
And I just want to, if there are any other comments on it, but before we go to, if anyone else has comment on this topic, I'm a little shocked by your observation. And the reason I'm shocked, I know you very well, of course. You have talked about, and I've cruised with you. We cruised to Cuba. I know your husband.
Let's get that straight.
I know I was like, really?
Can we get a clarification?
Right. We have cruised on a cruise ship together to Cuba. I know your husband. Every you have been completely consistent in all of the time that I've known you about your relationship with your husband and the lock of that relationship. Tonight is the first time I've ever heard you say, well, interestingly enough, if we would have started in a different way, today I could be completely different. That was like pulling me oxygen out of my lungs, because for my ear, and who cares, but for my ear, that is a paradigm difference that was shocking to me, which is that you could be completely different than what I think of Power Infiniti and husband.
I could. He can't.
Yeah. Okay. All right. But my point, and I respect that too. But my point is, there's a fluid interpretation in what you said, depending on circumstances, etc., which is really interesting to me.
Well,
Monogamy,
and that
which I
sort of
haven't thought about
circles.
before.
That circles a little bit to what I was going to ask Napoleon. Do you think that some people, because I agree with ultimately with what you said, but do you think that some people are just wired to be monogamous?
Oh, absolutely.
Just like some people are wired
Every
not to.
relationship, whether that's a romantic relationship or a friend relationship, every relationship, you have to figure out what your rules are. And I know part of mine comes from hurt. The only experience that I've had in a monogamous relationship is one where I actually wanted it to be an open relationship. And then the guy ended up cheating on me, which was like this whole issue of like, what was the reality of what we're dealing with this entire time? How could that be anything other than you trying to...
I want to answer the question. I want to answer Aaron's question in a little bit different way. No, we're not wired that way.
You don't think
We
so?
are
Nobody?
taught. I don't think anyone is.
Really?
I'm going to go out on the limb and say no one is.
Wow.
We are influenced, educated, controlled, religiously managed, socially managed by parents and family and our social circles to believe whatever that those individuals want to teach us to
And coming
believe.
back to this toxic monogamy, guys, okay, because we'll say that, right? But toxic monogamy, when I hear that word, I'm hearing codependency. Is that what this is? Is that what that is? Because, I mean, this is the first time I hear toxic monogamy. I'm like, what does that mean? You know, like an unhealthy relationship? You guys have to sit down and have a conversation or work it out, you know?
Right.
But is that codependency? Because that's what it would really mean to me.
I think
you
it's
know?
parallel to it because
more
you can be monogamous and you can also impose monogamy on somebody. You said yourself you wanted an open relationship, and then this person obviously manipulated, controlled, whatever you into, convinced you into being monogamous. You're already starting off with a lack of foundation because you're starting off on an honest, you know, on a dishonest level.
I'm curious, does it aggravate anybody that for a long, long time, I won't say that that's true today, but for a long, long time in the straight community, in oppression of the gay community, we were promiscuous and the straight community wasn't. And we know flatly that that is not true.
And no one had sex in the 50s except for with people they were married to.
Right.
It's just an idea that people perpetuate that isn't reality at all.
And that's the observation that I make about monogamy. We're trained to respond based on who is training us, educating us, and demanding that we respond in the way that we are going to.
I don't know, because then my question becomes, I have known people who have come out as gay or queer or trans or whatever and have overcome a lot of those obstacles and a lot of that conditioning, but still feel that they are monogamous and they are just, you know, for one person and that's it.
Part of it is, I think, as individuals, there are two factors that we long for, and that's security and significance. And if we don't feel secure in ourselves and or significant other than with the other person, then we're going to create a discord, right, in a relationship. Because if my security and significance depends on you, and what you do may or may not allow me to survive.
Finding someone who makes you happy versus being someone
I want to come out of the topic, but I want to finish with a flash poll. If we could indicate that we're going to do a flash poll, because I'm curious, yes or no in a flash poll. In terms of commitment of monogamy or any of the implementations of our thinking about monogamy, is there any difference in thinking about monogamy and its results different between the straight community and the gay community? Is there any difference? What do you think? Yes or no? Yes?
No.
Yes?
Yes.
No. No difference?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Interesting to me. The majority of you think yes. That is our topic on monogamy this week. We thought it interesting based on an article that we read.
Was that
we
picture
brought to
toxic monogamous masculinity?
It was a
Because there
beautiful
was
picture of how I want to participate in non-monogamy.
That was our next Jack, Mary, Chop.
Right.
Those three guys right there.
Right, exactly. All right. Speaking of that, let's move. Thank you for the segue help. Let's move into Shag, Marry, Chop. We're going to play a game where we're going to play. We want you to play along with us, America and world. And we're going to show you 3 pictures where you decide who you shag, who you marry, and who you chop. And hopefully we'll find out something interesting. Now, it's holiday time. Before we show this, let me tee it up. It's holiday time. Now, we see many images about Santa Claus. But Santa Claus can be super sexy. And our crack production team has helped us find that out. So we're going to play Shag, Marry, Chop this week with sexy Santas on Instagram. Here we go. Dan Edgar, La Maravilla, and Joshua Armstrong.
Oh, my.
Now, let me tell you quickly. Dan
Someone
Edgar,
passed my
you
glass.
see there, is English, and he's on a show in Britain called Toei. La Maravilla is a Latin pop artist, but he lives in New York. And Joshua Armstrong, who, by the way, I happen to know, is a performer on Instagram. And let me just put it this way.
You're blocking my view.
You know him because he shows you everything, depending on how much money you spend.
You just apply to his job. Don't act like you know him personally. You just paid him to say hello to you. That's a huge difference. You can go on the corner and pay somebody to give you attention too. It's not the same thing as
Your joke's funny, but it's not true. But your joke is funny. All right, so who wants to play Shag, Marry, Chop? Let's start.
Oh, man.
You know, the whole time, all I'm thinking of is that song from last year's holiday show about the two guys that were singing how they wanted to mess around with Santa. Is just ringing.
Just tell us who you're going to
Tell us
shag,
who you're
Napoleon.
shagging,
I will shag Dan because he looks. No, I'm changing my mind mid-sentence. I'm going to shag Joshua because I would definitely do him the one time.
He is a big boy.
Yes.
Wait, you're not understanding.
Rude boy.
He's a big boy.
But is it pretty?
It's beautiful.
So, but is it pretty? I mean, everyone up here is always going to be like a visually attractive person, so I would shag him. I would marry Dan because he's the only one up here that I look at and I say, hey, you're human. And it has nothing to do with his body. It's because I'd have to chop Franielli is how you say that, right? I don't think that level of confidence makes me feel like, not just confident, it feels very egotistical, and I am not into that more than maybe one time.
I'm curious, Napoleon, for America's benefit, you want to shag Joshua. Let me tell you something about Joshua. Joshua is a very verbal top. He is a very verbal.
Do you have his consent to share his tea with the world?
Are you kidding? Like 40 million men.
Like,
Are you gonna give us the rundown on each of the other two?
If you were going to be in a shag experience just that one time, he would totally want to dominate you. He probably would. Would you like that?
First, please stop imagining me in sexual experience.
Oh, please.
Your
All right,
time.
answer my question.
Yeah, I can like anything. If he's good at it, if he's good at what he does, then it's fun. It's all when you're trying too hard. It's not like
he's not trying too hard.
Is a shag experience the new Star Wars ride that's going to be coming to Disney?
Right. Okay.
I'm here for that.
All right. Who else wants to play Shag, Marry, Chop?
I'll shag Joshua just because we can only do that
Have
one
I
time.
scolded
Okay.
enough?
Yeah. I was like, all right. And I'd marry Dan because he seems like, clean cut, and I could bring him home to the parents. My parents would be so happy. No, but they love Marcy, so it doesn't even matter. But that Franielli guy, okay. I've actually had sex with guys like that.
At this moment, and you're chopping him at this moment? What's that?
Stop it.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've had sex with men like that, and they are just like the worst lays I've ever. They are.
Oh, why is that? Why?
Because they're
like
too
inwardly
focused.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. All right, who else? Joe, who would you...
You don't think Joshua's inwardly focused?
All right, Joe, who would you...
I'm going to say I would definitely shag Franielli, and I'm going to marry Joshua because I like muscle ass.
And you would chop Edgar.
I'm going to chop Edgar.
Yeah, Joshua would make you his bitch. Would you like that?
I think Joshua might like to be my bitch.
You keep thinking that.
All right, you keep working on that, Joe. All right, who would like to play next? Who's going to play next?
You want to go?
No, you go.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, okay. So when we started looking at these pictures, my jaw was like down here at what's the guy's name in the middle? I can't see it.
Maravilla.
Him, the one with the V. Like,
Yeah.
I was just, oh my God.
Stunning.
But then he turned and started doing that little, like, and I was like, no, takes one to know one. That's a bottom.
Oh!
Listen, when you do that little arch in your back, like in the lower back, I know exactly what that is.
That is
Girl,
a scientific thing.
It's
too.
a scientific
It literally
thing.
is a scientific
Thing with a
But
capital T.
There, a masculine, feminine energy, whatever you regard yourself
Listen,
as.
go
when
to
you lean
Johnson's
forward,
tonight.
it is a masculine form.
Go
and
to
when you lean
Johnson's.
backward, it is
We
a
talked
feminine
about it.
form.
Go to
It is-
Johnson's and you
we
can
talk
tell.
about that later. It's
You
possible.
can tell.
Okay.
So, unfortunately, I'll paint your nails, I guess. But, like, I'm gonna...
Wow, a female accessory remark coming
God.
from Aaron. Was that gender toxicity
My nails
from Aaron?
are painted literally every day.
Toxicity.
You said he was
Gender
feminine, so we should go
toxicity.
paint his
And
nails.
you're
We'll talk
marrying
about that
who?
next week. I'm gonna shag awkward guy Dan. He
Awkward.
seems a little unsure, which means he's got something to prove in the bedroom.
He's the goofiest of the. Ooh,
So
he's the goofiest of the three.
even better.
Even
yes,
better. All right,
perfect.
good.
He's not gonna take himself
And
too
you're gonna
seriously.
marry?
I'm gonna. Oh God, I forgot I had to marry somebody. Oh Jesus. I guess I'll marry this guy on the right. He looks like a project. I could
Joshua
probably.
Armstrong. You would
Probably
love his
spice it up a
accent.
little.
His accent is stunningly beautiful.
Oh, well, I'll take that.
English, beautiful, and verbal. Very.
I'll take emotional
We get
baggage
it.
if it comes with an accent. I mean, by all means.
Something you've enjoyed before, Al.
No,
And I'm having this.
I know. I know. Literally, I know.
Miss Infinity, you've been sharing that you've been holding back this share. So what's going on?
I'm just a little irritated with Al because he's just been talking about Joshua Armstrong so much that now when I want to say what I like about him, he said everything.
All right.
Friendly, I would shag because I would climb him. And as a dancer myself, I know that his moves, the way that he moves, obviously he can dance. And if you can dance,
Who is this?
the one in the middle.
Flexibility is key.
And if you can move like that, you can move like that in bed.
All right.
You think he's a flip too?
I wouldn't give a damn
And
if he's a
and
flip,
the
a
Mary?
vogue, a this or that. I don't give a damn. I would do him. So I would shag him. I would marry Joshua Armstrong because I love that cocky, verbal assault, especially in his British accent, which I have heard. So that just alone, I could listen to that every day. And this guy Dan Edgars, he looks like if he picks me up to fuck me, he would probably drop me. He just looks very awkward and he just doesn't have it all together. Furthermore, he's
Never
not
underestimate the quiet
Power.
ones.
In all of the Shag Mary
He gets
chops
the
that
chop.
we have played, I assure you, the Mary of Josh Armstrong is an absolute bullseye. You would bring him in as it would be the open third into your relationship. Because
Oh my God, are you and Hunky Pook the creepy couple?
No.
All right.
I just had to make sure.
That's our game, Shag, Mary, Chop. We play this every week. We hope you'll play along with us. Well, we are getting ready to close out our show, and as we do every week at It's Happening Out, we have pizza, and we bring in Jet's Pizza.
Woo!
And look what we're doing this week.
Oh.
This is the Detroit deep dish.
The only kind of meat I don't like.
Yeah.
That is-
oh my goodness, does
that
it
is
smell good?
so good.
Oh, it smells good.
It is
You
so
had a good week?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right.
Oh,
great
great.
week. All right. Well, thank you very much. And Jet's
you.
Pizza, they're all over the country, but if you're in South Florida, make sure you order Jet's. All right. Well, that is our show tonight, and It's Happening Out. We hope you've enjoyed it. Every week, we give our host an opportunity to say goodnight, and this week is no exception, and we're going to start with Joe.
Family, just love one another, listen to one another, and learn from one another. And come join us next week, some more information and fun with our community.
All right. Well, good night, hungry people. Stay hungry. Keep your mind hungry. Keep your souls hungry. Keep your spirits hungry for the season. And start thinking about the things that are important to you. Keep watching the show because this is important to me. And see you next week.
And my friend Napoleon Plays.
Everybody, remember that there is power in pop culture. There is power in the cultural zeitgeist, and we are here to discuss it every week, whether that's Star Wars or anything else. So remember to play every day, every way, and come play with us too, because we're going to discuss all of it every week.
And my friend Aaron Phoenix.
Good night, gender fuckers. And to anybody who's fluid, who's a little wiggly wobbly, a little bit in between, a little bit of those questionable areas, there's a place for you, and it's right here at It's Happening Out.
Awesome. And my friend Power Infiniti.
Good night, children, and just remember to keep it tuned in right here on It's Happening Out as we watch our history unfold. This is a place for all the tea.
Yeah.
Absolutely. America, our friends in Havana and London and Dubai and around the world, It's Happening Out is trying to provide unique content for the gay and the LGBTQ plus community. We thank you for joining us. We have become the most popular live gay TV show in all of the world, and we really appreciate that because you've shared and liked us. We continue to try to find what's important to our community, and we hope we've kind of accomplished that tonight in the diversity of the things that we've talked about. We'll be back every Wednesday at 8 o'clock, same time, same bat channel. And America and the rest of the world, we're getting ready to announce, you're going to see the promotion of it. We are going to do a special show on Christmas night, Wednesday, December 25th, and a special launch show of 2020 on Wednesday night, January 1, 2020. So make sure you stay with us.
Hey, so if you don't have family to be with on Christmas, you do now.
Yeah, or have your family tune in with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Either way.
Love that.
So remember, if it's important to you, America, it's happening out. Good night, America.
Good night.